Hello, can anybody hear me? Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Can you guys see me? Welcome to the biggest breakthroughs that will transform. Oh gosh, I'm on the wrong page. Oh dear. Pretend you didn't see that. Welcome to the 3 biggest breakthroughs that will transform your dating life. If you are here, welcome. There's already so many of you here. Go ahead and type in the chat room where you're from, why you're here. We're going to get started in just a few seconds. So go ahead, let me know where you're from, where you're at. I cannot wait to chat with you. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you cannot see me or hear me. Oh, I'm trying to get to the chat. Oh, I'm so sorry. There we go. I found the chat. Woohoo! Okay, hold on. I have to exit from full screen real quick. Let's see. Exit full screen. There we go. There we go. Okay, so sorry. I am trying to find my chat box. There it is. Yay! Okay, amazing. Oh my gosh, we have friends from Austin, South Carolina, Olivia from McKinney, Arlington. What up, Texas? Oh my gosh, Olivia from Hawaii, Central Florida, Canada. Oh my gosh. Wow, Carrie, I'm so glad that you're here. Olivia from Pennsylvania, from your friend Felicia. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you guys are here. 3 Olivias. Y'all need to become best friends. Diana, what's up, girl? I'm so glad you're here representing the NYC. Madeline from Southlake. Madeline, I grew up in Coppell, Texas. I don't know if you knew that, but we were rivals. So there is that. All right, guys, who's ready? Who's ready to start? Anyone ready? And can you guys see my video? Everyone's ready? And you can see me? Okay, because I am going to turn off the video so that we can get into the workshop. So who's ready? Ready? Okay, we're gonna go. We got this. All right, so I'm gonna stop my video and honestly be very gracious with me, y'all, because I feel like I'm constantly like one wrong move from blowing up my computer. So if there are tech issues, I'm just praying in advance that that does not happen. But here we go. All right. Welcome to also, can you guys see this chat on my page? I'm gonna just leave that there. Hold on, sorry. This is my, okay, hold on. Go away. Okay. I cannot see the chat box anymore. Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, you do see the chat pop up. Okay, I'm just going to make it really small because I do want to see y'all while I'm talking. All right, we're starting again. Here we go. Oh my gosh. First of all, before we get started into this workshop, I want to just say a quick prayer. So I hope y'all are cool with that. I just want to give this time to God and let God lead this the way God wants to. So wherever you are, wherever you're doing, just go ahead and take a deep breath in. Whew, and let it out. And another deep breath in and let it out. And God, we just say that you are good and you have beautiful plans for our lives. God, over this next hour, I pray for each and every single woman in here, from the abundant amount of Olivias to Courtney to Katrine to Nadia to Kirsten, all the women coming from all over the planet, God, that you care so deeply about. And God, what I also know is that even though you created the universe and the galaxies and volcanoes, you created each one of us individually, and you are intricately aware of what's going on in our lives and our hearts, and even those deep, deep cracks and crevices of our hearts and our desires that we may not even be able to share with others. God, you know. So God, would you meet us here today? Would you guide me? Would you use me? And God, would we each leave this workshop changed and transformed? God, this is for your name and for your glory. Amen. Can I get an amen? All right. The 3 biggest breakthroughs that will transform your dating life, equipping you to navigate Christian dating in a swipe right, swipe left culture with intention, hope, and clarity. All right. So over the next hour, I'm going to show you how you can make the ultimate shift from feeling lonely, frustrated, and stuck in the desert wasteland of dating to showing up in wholeness and actively and intentionally dating. All right, so before we get started, if you stay with me till the end and decide to go on this incredible journey with me, I have an incredible bonus for you. It is called What About My Sexual Desire? Now, some of you might have read an article on my website about what do I do with my sexual desire when I'm not having sex, or you may have heard a podcast. This is a way more fleshed out and layered workbook with audio teaching as well that I created for you to navigate and go through. I'm talking about everything from masturbation. Yeah, I'm going there because you guys ask me about that all the time. To, okay, scripture says to either get married if you're going to burn with passion, but so many of us feel like we're burning with passion and there's no guy in sight. So what do we do in the meantime? So stay with me till the very end so that you can have details to get on board with this amazing bonus that I created for you. All right. And next, first of all, my gift game. I pray that it is a blessing to you because I think I spent just as much time picking the perfect gifts for this workshop as I did the content. So before moving forward, just make sure you turn off all distractions, okay? So if you have other tabs open in your computer, on your phone, if you're texting, if you're also watching TV, turn all those other distractions off. And my encouragement to you is let this next hour be for you. Let this next hour be an hour where you can soak up and receive and learn and grow. The only thing I want you to be doing is taking notes and receiving. And if you want to take like a screenshot on your computer or a video on your phone and then upload afterwards onto Instagram and tag the refined woman and let me know what you loved about this workshop, do that. But other than that, let's turn off distractions and multitasking. That's right. No more multitasking, Olivia. All right. I want you to know you are in the right place if you can resonate with any of these experiences, okay? First of all, number 1, who here feels stuck in your singleness and at a total loss? Like you want to be in a relationship, but it feels totally out of your hands. It's like you're stranded in the Sahara Desert of dating. Does anyone feel that way? All right. Number 2, you might feel lonely. I mean, does anyone resonate with Kristen Wiig as much as I do in Bridesmaids? Like, help me, I'm poor. Like, you are lonely for that relationship, but also does it ever feel like all your friends are getting into relationships and that you're the perpetual bridesmaid? Like, listen, girl, I have been a bridesmaid 17 times, so this one resonates deeply with me. Now, next, let's face it, dating culture and all the swipe rights and swipe lefts can feel totally exhausting amidst pursuing your calling and purpose. Like, how do you even begin to step into this dating culture? It feels super overwhelming. Or maybe you feel like most of us in here, you feel frustrated. Like, where are all the godly guys anyways? Like, does it ever feel like they're all already taken? Anyone? Or maybe lastly, you feel discouraged. You love God and want to do it His way, but you just feel so discouraged with the whole process. And don't even get me started on the friend zone. Who here has been stuck in that friend zone? Lord have mercy. All right, so I want to ask you, why are you here? Is it number 1, because you feel stuck, 2, you feel lonely, 3, overwhelmed, 4, frustrated, 5, discouraged? Type 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 in the chat box. Or maybe you're like, honestly, D, all of the above. Laura says all of the above. Stephanie says all of the above. Overwhelmed, discouraged, all the above from Rebecca. Oh my gosh, 1, 4, and 5. Stuck and discouraged. Gosh, oh my gosh, I so hear you. You want to know the beautiful thing about typing this stuff out is that it shows you you're not alone. So let me tell you a little bit about me. How many of you guys know here how much I love Beyonce? So as much as I would have loved to wake up like this, confident and bright and cheery in my dating life, honestly, friend, it was more like this. Real talk, this is a real photo of me crying, and that is snot dripping out of my nose, because dating for me for such a long time was such a painful, lonely experience. And I would end up in tears like this, snotty, red, and I'm not that cute crier. Like I even think like my nose gets bigger when I cry. Like, I don't know why, but I think it does, and it's super weird. So honestly, my singleness and dating journey from my teens throughout most of my 20s varied from either being like totally non-existent. I even went through a time period where I did not date for almost 7 years. Like, the most action I got was like a side hug from a guy when I was a camp counselor. And for years, I lived completely shut down to my sexuality out of fear, because there was so much pressure put on me by the church, and who knows about purity ring culture or I kiss dating goodbye. Oops, sorry guys, got a little glitch. So I went from being the CEO and president of Friend Zone to dating both Christians and non-Christians at different times, to attracting emotionally unavailable men like a moth to a flame. Y'all, I was insecure and honestly felt completely unworthy of the type of relationship I truly longed for. Like I played like a brave face out front, but on the inside, I was so deeply insecure. And then I came to a place where I was dating a lot and wondered, what in the heck do I do with my sexual desire and sex drive if I'm waiting until marriage to have sex? I even spent an entire year researching every single verse in the Bible that talked about sex. And you know what? Jesus actually has a lot to say about it. I've been a bridesmaid 7 times, so basically I'm a professional. I've been ghosted, stood up, friend zoned, broken up with because I'm too ambitious. I've been sexually harassed, heartbroken, and dates abruptly ending when guys find out I'm waiting until marriage to have sex. So all that to say, ladies, I have been on a journey. Yet over the years, God has met me over and over and over again. And through seeking God, digging into His Word, seeking mentorship, counseling, therapy, women's retreats and workshops, and being committed to doing the work, I have found freedom, hope, purpose, and calling in my singleness, y'all. And I have actually gained practical tools to date with intention, clarity, and vision. I have been walking in your shoes, and I have felt all the things. And when I was going through this journey, for most part during those years, the only books, sermons, podcasts, and resources I could find were from men and women who got married super young. Like, I'm talking 19 years old. And even though so much of what they were saying was true, it almost felt irrelevant and unhelpful because they could not relate in the slightest to my experience, to what it actually meant to be late 20s and now early 30s, navigating dating culture. It felt like there was no one out there living out singleness with a similar experience as me in dating with honor. So after moving in and through my journey and God meeting me with hope and growing and shaping me and reclaiming wholeness over my life, I realized you don't have to have that same experience. You don't have to be alone in this. So I am standing here today as a Bible major from Texas who found her way to New York City. I'm an entrepreneur. I've run a photography business for 10 years. I'm co-founder of The Refined Woman and host the Refined Collective podcast. I'm a 33-year-old virgin, yes, you heard that right, who loves Jesus and is committed to walking out dating and singleness, honoring God, and having fun while doing it. I am on a journey and have gone through so many of the things you're going through, and I'm here today by God's grace and can guide you from a space of empathy and compassion, because I have been in your shoes and honestly, in some ways, still am. I ain't got no ring, girlfriend, so I can relate. I am here today to speak truth and hope and life and encouragement over you from a place of so many shared experiences. Like Kim McManus says, your heartache is someone else's hope. If you can make it through, somebody else is going to make it through. Tell your story. So this is me telling you my story. So pause a minute. Can you imagine what it would feel like if you had the relationship you longed for? What if you could go from the desert wasteland of dating to not only dating someone consistently, but a godly man of integrity? What if there were actually single, available, godly men for you to date? And what if you no longer felt stuck in your singleness at home on a Friday night with your girlfriends watching rom-coms and drinking wine? How would that feel for you? I want to hear in the comment section below, what would be possible for you if that was true? Now, this is an interactive class, and as so many of you are already, it's okay if you don't drink wine, Olivia. You can have like a tea or a soda, a LaCroix. Let's say LaCroix. Katie says it would be mind-blowing. So even though I can't hear you, one reason I want you to type away and shout me down with some amens or a heck yes or tell me how you're feeling is because I want to be in this with you. And you're not the only one feeling what you're feeling. So let's bring the darkness to light. So who is with me on that? So here's the one thing I really want you to understand. And if you have your workbooks, the work starts here. As a single woman of faith who desires a meaningful relationship with a godly man, you no longer have to sit on the sidelines and passively wait for God to drop a man on your doorstep. But instead, you can collaborate with God in community and play an active role in your dating life. So as I promised, I'm now going to walk through the 3 biggest breakthroughs that will transform your dating life. Breakthrough number 1, put fear in its proper place. I believe there are so many ways that we interact with fear when it comes to singleness and dating, but here are what I believe to be 3 of the biggest. Number 1, the fear of being judged or misunderstood. Don't you remember like when we're little girls, we were like allowed to prance around in princess dresses and unabashedly talk about our prince or how we wanted to be married. But at some point it became embarrassing or even shameful to admit you want to be in a relationship. I know I felt so judged at times for out loud saying that I want to be married. Then there's this fear of seeming needy or desperate by admitting you want to be in a relationship. And then there's this other thing that maybe it somehow makes you less spiritual if you want something more. Like there's this weird thing in Christian culture where we say things like, it'll happen when you least expect it, or God's going to bring that guy when you're finally content. So we hide this desire of ours because we are afraid of being found out, feeling needy, feeling desperate. I don't know if any of you are with me on that. So another thing that can happen is even though you want to date, how many of you here want to date? You're terrified of getting it wrong. I don't know if there are any type A's, perfectionists, Enneagrams 1 or 3. I'm an Enneagram 3. How do you even talk to a guy or flirt or online date in the first place? So instead of taking a chance and being willing to fumble and stumble and fail a little bit, you stay nice and safe in that perfect little comfort zone of yours. So friend, letting this truth sink in, that growth begins on the other side of your comfort zone, will transform you. Or perhaps you judge yourself. Maybe it's not you're afraid of what other people are going to think. You say, Kat, if you only know where I've been, if you only know what I've done, maybe you've made mistakes in the past and don't want to make the same mistakes. I dated a guy once, off and on for years, that literally every single one of my family members and friends didn't like, but they didn't quote unquote know him like I knew him. I fell hard and I fell fast, and we went further physically than I had with other guys. And honestly, I was so hungry for love. I would even beg him to hang out with me at times. Like, Literally, I was so thirsty begging him. And when it finally ended and the scales fell from my eyes, it was so clear that he wasn't even that interested in me. I was so embarrassed by my mistakes and ashamed of how I behaved and for not listening to my friends and my family that I didn't trust myself with men for a really, really long time. So in combating this fear of being misunderstood or judgment, I want to tell you that this is a judgment-free zone. We're actually all on equal playing field. And even outside of this workshop, there's no such thing as hierarchy, better than or less than. There is nothing embarrassing or shameful about longing to be in a relationship and being with your honest with yourself and others about that. It's one of the most human desires to long to be in a romantic relationship. We even see that from Genesis 1 or 2. There was no sin or brokenness in the world, yet God knew and recognized it's not good for humans to be alone. And to be frank, the only problem I have with the whole, I want to be content in my relationship with God and then it'll happen, or once I'm finally content, then God will do this for me. God doesn't work like that. God is full of grace and mercy and unconditional love. It doesn't predicate upon your relationship status or contentment level. So what if it's not an either or, but a both and? You love God and you also want to be in a relationship. Is it possible for you? Transformation is possible, friend. Lastly, we learn from our mistakes. It is 100% possible to create new roads, walk into new territory, create new legacies of hope in your life. Just because you did something before doesn't mean you have to do it again. I am living proof of that. And just because your parents did something, your parents got divorced, there was infidelity or addiction in your family, does not mean that that is your legacy. Isaiah 43:19 says, "See, I'm doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." God is the God who does new things in your life. Your past does not define you. Psalm 103:12 says, "As far as the east is from the west, so far as he removed our transgressions from us." And finally, 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, "You are a new creation." That's what you have access to. Are you with me, friend? Are you tracking with me? Next, the fear of rejection. I dated a guy in my 20s that, again, treated me horribly, but I would have done just about anything to be with him, and he rejected me over and over and over again. How many of you know the heartache of rejection, of putting ourselves out there and for feelings not to be mutual is completely devastating? So because of that, I lived for so many years because I was so afraid of getting hurt, and I tried to avoid the pain of rejection. But when we shut down ourselves from pain, we also shut ourselves off to experiencing love. You have to be open to both. So as hard as it can be, over the years, I've learned rejection is God's protection in my life. Honestly, I think one of the ways God has really protected me from settling is by having the guy reject me when I would not have had the courage to walk away. If God would have given me what I wanted when I wanted it, friend, I would have gotten married in my 20s to someone I was working out all my daddy issues on. I would be either in an extremely painful or lonely marriage or even divorced by now. So, all right, moving on. Fear of failure. This is the final fear we're going to go over for now. All right, I mentioned daddy issues before. Anyone here have daddy issues? I mean, I do. Growing up, I experienced a painful and oftentimes a failed relationship with my dad. And my heart was so wounded from that relationship that I didn't think I could take it anymore. So since I'd been so hurt in the past and didn't want to get hurt again, I made this tiny, quiet promise deep down in the recesses of my heart that I would protect myself at all costs. So even though I really wanted to be in a relationship, because I had made this internal agreement, I was subconsciously pushing love away at every chance. So maybe you've put your heart out there before and it didn't go well and you're in self-preservation mode. Trust me, I get it. I truly believe with God that there is no such thing as failure. He uses all things together for the good of those who love him. And every opportunity is an opportunity for growth if we choose to be. He is our great protector, our provider. And it took me a lot of time and healing to realize I didn't want to hold that promise any longer of self-preservation, that with God, even when it hurts, I'm safe. And even if the worst case scenario happens, I'll be okay. On top of that, we can claim the promises of God over our lives, over our failures, over our pain and heartache, because nothing can separate us from the love of God. And there's nowhere that we can go from his presence. God is always with us. And God works all things, even imperfect relationships and breakups, for the good of those who love him. So overall, friend, what I want to tell you is that fear is not your destiny. 2 Timothy 1:7 says, God did not give you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Because of that, fear only has the power that we choose to give it. We get to choose our relationship to fear, because the reality is the fear might not disappear, but the choice is up to you and me. Do I let fear steer the ship or not? Who is the captain here? Is it fear or is it Jesus? So what if we saw the fear, said, hello, thank you for stopping by. I see you. I validate you, because fear is there because it's trying to protect us. That's why fear exists. It's trying to keep us safe. But I'm not going to give in to you. So we can acknowledge the fear and go for it anyways, because the breakthrough on the other side is better than you can ever imagine, friend. All right, who's ready for breakthrough number 2? It is called Shake It Up. And I cannot help but think of Taylor Swift, shake it up, shake it up, So I will not give you a Taylor Swift concert right now. We can go into breakthrough number 2, Shake It Up. All right. Did you know that doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results, is known as the insanity cycle? And isn't it funny to see how easy it is to see in other people's lives? We're like, oh my gosh, Karen just needs to get over it. But with ourselves, we can be so blind. And sometimes we just need someone externally to give us that feedback that, hey, friend, you're stuck in a cycle and it's time to try something new. This is me doing that for you. There are 3 reasons we get stuck in this insanity cycle trap. 1, we're stuck. 2, we're unwilling. 3, we're hiding. So women ask me all the time, why am I single? How do I meet men? Or there's no guys in my life. And let me tell you, after I do even just a little digging, I find out that almost every woman who asks me this spends the majority of her time doing the same thing, stuck in the same routine. And typically most of what she does is female-centered activities, whether that's Bachelor on Monday night or Soul Cycle, or you're leading a small group for women. Now, all of those things are incredible, but chances are God is not going to drop your husband in your lap Monday night between Bachelor commercials or in your Saturday morning yoga class where there are 0 men in attendance. We have to be willing to get unstuck and shake things up. So not only are we stuck in that same routine, but unwilling to try new things. So there's this common conversation that comes up when single women are together. Let me know in the chat if you have ever participated in what I call the complaining fest, because I know I have. The complaining fest that comes up when a lot of girls are together is there's no good guys out there. They're all already taken. Like, no, where are the men? They need to step up. So let me tell you, getting together and complaining about the men in your life or the lack of men in your life, it's not working. It's not becoming, and it's not honoring to God, and it's not honoring to the men in your life. Instead of blame shifting or not taking responsibility for how you're showing up, when we do this, when we get in this cycle of complaining, where are all the guys? It is keeping you stuck in this insanity cycle. So I wonder what would happen if instead of complaining about what we don't have, we got together and declared what we could have and asked God to show us ways to walk towards it. Because isn't faith leaning into the unseen? Isn't that what relationship with God is all about? Seeing the reality that is in front of us and God saying, I am bigger, I am better, I can do more. So instead of focusing on reality, let's lean into possibility. It's like complaining to God that we want to run a marathon, but we haven't even signed up, bought the shoes, or gone to the gym. God is the giver of good gifts, and we get to partner with him. All right, the last one, hiding. We're going to get more into this one later, but it's important that we touch on this now. Hiding behind spirituality. Who knows in the church sometimes or in faith circles that we can over spiritualize dating. Like if God wants me to be married, he's going to make it happen. Well, yes, that is true. But it's also true that God moves and works and opens and closes doors as we move through life. So I want to tell you a story. There once was a man on a cruise ship and he fell overboard and was like drowning and struggling to stay alive. He didn't know how to swim, but this guy was so freaking confident and kept yelling back to the people on the ship, don't worry, God's going to provide for me. I just know it. He's going to save me. And so a passenger on the ship threw over a life jacket and said, here, take this. But the man said, no, God's going to save me. God's going to provide. Then the captain sent out a rescue boat with a crew, and they reached out their hands to the man saying, here, grab hold. But the man said, no, I have faith. God is going to provide for me and save me. So the boat left. Then a helicopter came and dropped down a ladder to save the man, yet he still refused. God is going to save me. Well, can you guess what happened? The man died. And when he woke up in heaven and finally got face to face with God, he asked him the only burning question on his mind. Why didn't you save me, God? To that, God replied, I sent you a life jacket and you refused. I sent you a rescue boat. You refused. I even sent you a helicopter, yet you refused. I was trying to save you, but you wouldn't let me. You know, sometimes I wonder how often God is trying to provide for us and answer our prayers, but because it requires movement and action and getting out of our comfort zone, or because it doesn't look like how we thought it would or should look, we let these God opportunities pass us by. Friend, we actually have so much freedom and authority and permission to move. Now, of course, there are times we need to sit back and wait on God. And I'll be the first person to say, I move when God leads. And the last thing I want to be is ahead of him, barreling down doors. However, God does not want us to be spectators in our own lives. Acts 17:28 says, for in him we live and move and have our being. If you want to see things shake up in your dating life, you have to be willing to try new things. No great story begins with staying in the same place. So are you tracking with me? Are you hearing what I'm saying? Are you getting these breakthroughs down? Are you taking notes? Olivia, I love your question. Let's save these questions to the end. Save all your questions to the end, and I'm going to answer them in the Q&A, okay? All right, let's move on to breakthrough number 3. Let's get intentional. Y'all, I'm really sorry. Maybe I was a little over the board with the gifts, but every time I said, let's get intentional in my mind, the Michael Scott scene from The Office came into my head. Let's get ethical. I wanna get intentional. Okay, all right, I'll save you. All right. So imagine if a person wanted to be a surgeon and someone asked her, hey, how are you going to go about being a surgeon? Like, what school are you going to go to? What program did you get into? Where do you want to do your residency? And her answer was, oh, no, like, I haven't done any of that. Like, I'm going to trust God. If it's his will, he's going to make it happen. So first of all, I wouldn't trust this person operating on me because they're not willing to do the work. Secondly, and this is where I said earlier that I'd talk about hiding behind spirituality again. Again, God moves through our movement. It would be absolutely insane if a person who really wanted to be a surgeon didn't apply for school, apply for loans, do his residency, take his tests. It would be crazy. I would think that, well, maybe they actually don't even really want to be a surgeon and they're actually kind of being flippant and must not really care about really being a doctor. Because if you want to be a doctor, you need to apply yourself and then remain in school and graduate. And you need to show up with discipline, rigor, and drive. Because if you don't, you're going to fail your classes. And then that door to being a doctor is not going to be open. Yet, for some reason, as much sense as that makes, like how much sense does that make to you that God opens the doors in our careers, that he opens and closes those doors through our movement of application? Yet it's like we act completely weird and mystical when it comes to dating. Like, why would we act differently? Why would we be differently in this area of our life? I believe how we show up for one thing is how we show up for everything. And I want to be just as intentional about my love life as I am about my career, my fitness, my emotional health. If you need emotional help, you go get therapy and counseling and maybe go to women's conferences. Yet with dating, it's like we're all wondering or walking around like hands in the air, not knowing what to do, and then being like, oh, well, I guess we'll just see what happens. How many of you resonate with that? So I want to tell you about a friend of mine. I'm going to leave his name anonymous, but this is a friend of mine here in New York City that got a job right out of college working in the finance industry. And I don't know if you know anything about the finance industry in New York, but he was working 100+ hour work weeks for over a decade and pretty much blinked and was almost 40. Single, he had a crap ton of money, but was alone. And he finally got to this point where he realized even if he did want to date someone, he wouldn't have time for them in his current day-to-day life. So he did something completely countercultural in the finance industry. He decided to leave work at 6 p.m. He realized if he wanted to be married and that he needed to create space in his life for a woman. And girl, I'll tell you, this is God honest true story. 6 months later, he met his wife and now they're married and have 2 kids. You see, my friend was willing to be intentional. He was willing to get out of that insanity cycle of the same old routine he was in. And he was also willing to leave fear behind. Fear about what other people thought about him, what his boss or coworkers would think. And even he left the fear of failure behind because what if his idea didn't work and he looked silly? He acknowledged all of these things and did it anyways. We create space in our lives for the things that matter. If you're on this workshop with me, I know this. You are a single woman of faith who desires and wants and longs for a meaningful relationship with a godly man. If you're here with me now, I know it's because it matters so deeply to you. So how are you creating space in your life for this desire? Feel free to share below. So let's do a quick recap. The 3 biggest breakthroughs that will transform your dating life. I can't believe we're like zoomed through this portion. Oh my gosh. recap. Breakthrough number one, the big thing to take home is to put fear in its proper place. Acknowledge the fear and go for it anyways. Breakthrough number two, doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results is crazy. We got to be willing to shake things up. And then breakthrough number three, let's get intentional. We create space in our lives for the things that matter most to us. So before we move forward, 1, 2, or 3, which one of these breakthrough resonate with you most? Callie, is it Callie or Kelly says, shake it up. She can over spiritualize. Yep. Okay, Olivia, I hear you. And I definitely have words to say to you about that. Number three. Okay, so a lot of lack of being intentional, putting fear in the proper place. I see lots of threes, lots of shaking it up. Is fear coming up for anyone? Okay, fear's coming up for Mary and Anna and Kelly, Mary Young, all three of them. Faith Teasley. Faith, I recognize you. What's up, girl? All right. So you showed up today, even though you're super busy, for a specific purpose and reason. And I just want you to know that I see you. So I want to go over, there's a few reasons why you might be here. You feel lonely. You love your friends and community, but it's hard and lonely to always play the supporting role. You want to be supportive of your friends and their relationships and be happy for their engagements and weddings, but you also want a community of women in your current stage of life to spur you on. Even looking at these comments, guys, like seeing women in here that are a single mother, or how many women have said you feel like you live in a small town and it's hard to even imagine meeting a guy. You feel lonely, but even seeing this in here, I hope you can see that you are not alone. Or maybe you're discouraged, you want to be dating, and chances are you're looking for something serious. You're here. I know you're looking for something serious. You want to be married and hope that day is soon, but you feel like there aren't any single men in your community. Or if they are, they don't seem interested in you. And next, I think a lot of you are here. You want to meet quality men, but how and where do you even meet single men? And what do you say when you meet them? And how do you not get in the friend zone? You feel super unequipped. And lastly, you feel tired. You want to get out of that insanity cycle, but the online dating culture and all the social media is just exhausting. Is it exhausting for anyone else? But really, I know that you really want more. You want to be pursued. You are sick of feeling stuck and have doubt and sometimes even feel hopeless that you'll ever meet someone and be in the type of relationship that you truly long for. So let me know in the chat where you are at. We've talked a lot about the what fears, what the being intentional is and shaking things up. But would you like me to teach you how to let go of fear and to get out of that insanity cycle and how to be intentional in your dating life? So before we move forward, I want to have your permission before moving forward. Is this something that you're interested in? Do you want to know how to activate your dating life? Oh my gosh, definitely. Yes, please. And yes, Ingrid says, let's go. Let's do it. All right, friends. So if you're ready to learn how to date and you want a roadmap to do so, I would like to personally invite you into my brand new program, Activate Your Dating Life. It's available to join only until next Tuesday at midnight. I only offer this course 2 times a year because I really want to walk with you intentionally through this, okay? So the Activate Your Dating Life program is an implementation program that not only shows you exactly how to actively step into dating with vision, clarity, confidence, and freedom, but also how to put yourself out there and actually meet quality, single, godly men while being surrounded by a community of powerful women cheering you on. By the end of this course, you will have taken responsibility in your singleness with clarity and vision, identified the biggest obstacles like, hello, I live in a small town, and also the fears holding you back, discovered how to know you're truly worthy of of what you want, while also having a vision of what your calling and purpose in this season is. Because how many of you know that your calling does not depend on whether you or not you have a wedding ring on your finger? And you'll leave with practical tools to empower you to flirt and be engaged with men in real life or online. You'll have learned how to leave the friend zone, how to identify how you got there and avoid getting back there, and open yourself up to relationships, gained knowledge to get a solid setup from your community, discovered how to online date and what the most effective apps are, and also, is online dating biblical? I will teach you what I think about that, and tools to actively and proactively date as a woman of faith in today's culture. So Activate Your Dating Life is a 4-module course with 4 lessons in each module. So 16 lessons total in the 4 modules. Module 1, how to take responsibility and get clear. Module 2, how to put yourself out there. Module 3, how to meet men. Module 4, how to date. So let's unpack this a little bit more. So module 1, how to take responsibility and get clear. Lesson 1 is all about getting very, very clear, writing it down, putting it out there, being clear with God, being clear with the community of women going through this course, what it is that you really want. Do you want something casual? Do you want something serious? Are you ready for marriage? Because what we want in the future helps us navigate the present. Lesson number 2 is, how do I know I'm worthy? How do I finally get past the barriers of unworthiness or not feeling enough or feeling too much? And then after that, number 3, and this is so important, how to actually take responsibility in your singleness, how to actually show up with honor, to create a culture of honor in our community when we are in this season. And lesson number 4 is, this is my favorite lesson in this module, unpacking your calling and purpose in your current season. All right, module 2, how to put yourself out there. Lesson 1 is how to connect with your feminine heart and femininity. So before you're all like, okay, Kat, you're getting all woo-woo and weird on me. God created us so perfectly. Like, it is his heart for us to walk out freely in our feminine hearts. And I want to show you what that means and what that looks like. Lesson 2 is super practical. I'm giving you all the tips. How do you actually flirt? Like, what do you say and how do you say it? And what does that look like? And then after you learn how to flirt, I'm teaching you how to talk to men. We're going over conversation starters and where to meet those guys. And then number 4, I'm setting you up for success, to have the tools to actually get out there and practice. And Olivia, I'm going to teach you how to not be weird about it. Module 3, how to put yourself out there. Lesson 1 in module 3 is how to identify and leave the friend zone, and then how to have a conversation with the person you're in a friend zone without making it this like huge dramatic thing. Lesson number 2 is all about how to get a setup. I did a poll recently, and so many women are like, I want to be set up, but I feel desperate or needy or embarrassed to ask my friends to support me in this way. So I'm going to teach you how to get a proper setup. And then lesson number 3 is how to meet men in real life. Like, online dating is great, and I'm going to teach you how to do that in lesson 4. But so many of you want to meet men organically and authentically in real life. I'm going to show you the blind spots and what you're missing and how to actually meet them. All right, lesson 4, again, online dating 101, like tips, best practices, and I'll even show you what are my favorite apps and why. All right, module 4. So after doing all of that work, we're teaching you how to date. Oh, Olivia, oh my gosh, we got to get you around more single men, and I'm going to teach you how to do that. How to date. So lesson 1, which guys do you really say yes to? Like, especially if you're online, like how can you discern? What wisdom do you need to do to really tell, like, is this guy honestly worthy of my time? What do I say yes to? What do I say no to? Lesson 2, this is one of the most important lessons in the whole course. Why guys aren't asking girls out, especially in the church, all right? Seriously, this course right here is worth the whole thing for this lesson. Lesson number 3, dating 101. I'm teaching you what to wear on dates. How long should your first date be? Should you kiss on the first date or not? What are things that you should do on the first date besides just going on a coffee date? I am teaching you all of those things. And then lastly, because who does not want to actually have an action plan to move forward? Lesson 4 is all about how to create an action plan, next steps, how to make this practical in your life. All right. So what you get in the Activate Your Dating Life training program that's available only until this Tuesday night is the 4 training modules with 16 lessons from how to discern your calling and purpose all the way to equipping you for the actual date. Each lesson is filled with videos of me teaching, audio downloads, PDF guides, workbooks, and how-to. And on top of that, I am adding the Space Between Bible Study and Meditation guide that I currently sell. It's $19.99, but I want to gift that to you because as you're seeking, who knows that when you're seeking dating and in this season of singleness, how important it is to also be spending time with God. So while you're doing this heart stuff for your dating life, I want you to be able to have access to getting in God's word every day. So I'm gifting that as a bonus in this program. So what I want you to know before we move forward is I'm like not extra special here, y'all. I didn't have like tens of thousands of dollars to hire a relationship coach or a millionaire matchmaker. I've just simply been committed to the work. I've read dozens of books, articles, and I've met with mentors and pastors literally all over the world. I've gotten groups of women together and did research and development, gotten them on the phone, asked them questions. Literally, I've talked with women all over the US who have the same questions as you do. And I've practiced this stuff for 5 years with so many trial by errors before I created this roadmap that actually works. So I know I'm not extra special. I don't have extra access to support. I grew up in a small town just like a lot of you. I just spent years diving into this topic to find a way to get real results and partner with God so that you can have access to do the same thing. So, as I said, you get access to the complete Activate Your Dating Life training program with the Space Between Bible Study. And then, and this is what I am super excited about, you'll have access to a private members only group for 6 weeks of community and accountability. Like this is one of my favorite parts because this is where we get into the nitty gritty and can really support each other. All right. So I have to tell you, I haven't told you how much it cost yet, but I do want you to know that there is a money back guarantee. So if you go through this program and you're like, Kat, this like isn't for me, it didn't work. I want you to know, like, I believe so much in what I'm doing here that I will give you a refund. So I do this because I'm not looking for tire kickers, but honestly, true go-getters, women truly committed to the process and showing up in their singleness and taking responsibility so that you can get results. So if you do this program and are still not satisfied, you can show me your work within 30 days of enrolling and I'll gladly give you a refund. All right, so I'm going to introduce you to the final bonus for the program for Activate Your Dating Life. This is going to be where we find so much value with each other. I'm going to be doing a live weekly Q&A coaching session in the private members only Facebook group for 6 weeks to support you in activating the material, answering any and every question you could possibly have by going through the content, and even taking students live with me, coaching them through their questions and where they feel resistant and having a hard time. So what you get in the Activate Your Dating Life program is the complete Activate Your Dating Life training program with the 16 lessons, the Space Between Bible Study, the private members only Facebook group, and a weekly live Q&A sessions for 6 weeks so that you can actually have the clarity and support and training that you need to get what you need out of this. So the total value of the bonuses alone is $428.99. But I know my tribe well, and I bet you're thinking, all right, Kat, go ahead, give us the price. You're likely thinking, oh my gosh, was it going to be like $1,000? The truth is that for the coaching alone, I could probably and should probably charge that. It's that good, and the results you can create are that big. And when I told my peers in the industry about this course and all the videos and PDFs and weekly live coaching sessions, they said I should charge at the very least $500. However, I know you guys well, and I know that you are incredibly serious about your wholeness and singleness and dating, and that price point is not going to work for you. So what I did is I cut it in half. So if you are ready to get started, you've got some options, all right? To make things as easy as possible for you, I have a payment plan. So you can do 3 payments of $87 or 1 payment of $247. And to get there, you go to therefinedwoman.shop/ready to get enrolled and get started. But remember, I told you about the What About My Sexual Desire workbook. Do you guys remember that? Who's still with me? Are we alive? Are we here? Okay, so I am so excited about this fast action bonus. So if you purchase the Activate Your Dating Life program while we are still on this call, I'm just about to hop into our Q&A section in a moment. And if you enroll in the course before we end this workshop, I'm going to give you this workbook for free. So once again, if you're ready to enroll, all you need to do is go to therefinedwoman.shop/ready and choose your 2 options, and then you're good to go. So at this point, the way I see it is you have 2 options. Option 1, you don't make a plan to shift how you're showing up in your singleness and dating life. And this just becomes another talk that inspired and challenged you, but that you forgot about in a few days. And you're in the same place this time next year, stuck, frustrated, discouraged in your singleness. Or option 2, you 100% commit to taking responsibility for yourself, to co-collaborating with God and learning how to date and put yourself out there this year, dare I say this month, using this roadmap. So here's what you do. If you're ready to enroll, you can do this and then come back for the Q&A. Go to therefinedwoman.shop/ready and choose whichever payment option works best for you. And then we're going to get you all ready. So a few of you already might have a few objections here. All right. The first one being, okay, I'm overwhelmed and there just isn't enough time. So guys, we're going to be diving into the live Q&A. So if you have questions, go ahead and start typing them into the chat. But before we get there, I know what you might be thinking at this very moment. I'm curious, Kat, about learning how to activate my dating life. I want to learn how to put myself out there and meet quality men, but I'm overwhelmed and there just isn't enough time. So for you, anyone in here that feels that way, I want you to know that once you purchase the program, you have lifetime access. You can go at your own pace. There's no rush whatsoever. Some of you may want to go through it all next week, which I wouldn't necessarily suggest that. And some of you may slowly move through this content over the span of months and take breaks to implement it and dive back in. I just want you to know wherever you are, it's completely fine. All right. You also might be thinking, and don't worry, friend, I hear about this one a lot. Money doesn't grow on trees. How can I afford a program like this? I hear this one a lot. But let me tell you, your breakthrough starts now. One thing I know from experience is that one of the biggest breakthroughs you will have is showing yourself that you are worth the investment. You will never regret investing into your wholeness. Your freedom, your confidence, your future is actually priceless. So many of us, especially women, raise your hand, are willing to do anything and everything for those around us. What if you started to hold yourself just as high as you held the other women in your life that you looked up to? And man, if I had a nickel for how often I heard this one, all right, even if I did learn how to date, it doesn't take away the fact that there are no single dudes in my life and that the ones that are aren't asking girls out. So I No, I know some of you in here feel this way. And I actually didn't want to show you this because it's a hot commodity inside my course, but I'm just going to give you a little nugget of goodness from inside this lesson. The first thing we'll cover is mindset. Henry Ford said it beautifully, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. The first thing we have to address is mindset. This may feel true. It may feel true. It may be like, well, I'm in a small town. There are no guys. That may feel really, really, really true to you, but faith is leaning into the unseen. And guess what happens when you walk into a room expecting there to be no guys? You create that reality by how you show up, and everything that does or doesn't happen to you becomes ammunition for your cause. So I'm not going to say anymore because we're going to do a deep dive in this in Module 4, Lesson 2, why guys aren't asking girls out, especially in the church. So the final thing that I get is you might be saying, oh my gosh, I'm stuck in the friend zone like it's my job. Look, I want you to know that I have your back. I was the mayor of Friend Zone City for years of my life, and if it's possible for me to get out of the friend zone, it's possible for you. So I'm sharing with you inside Module 3, Lesson 1, the biggest mistakes as women that we make to keep us stuck in the friend zone and what action steps to take when we realize we're following that old familiar path and how to avoid them again to keep you from being stuck. So, you ready for Q&A time? If you're ready to sign up before Q&A time, just go to therefinedwoman.shop/ready. All the info you need is there. Scroll down and select your payment options, fill out the order form, and give us a few minutes and you'll get your welcome email and login credentials today. All right, so we have the next 15 minutes. I'm going to be answering all of your questions. And as long as we're still here live, if you enroll in the program, you will get that special bonus, What About My Sexual Desire? So let's go ahead and get into our Q&A. Here we go. Okay, so I see a question from Abby first. How do I get the What About My Sexual Desires when I signed up and bought the course? So Abby, if you are purchasing it right now, then it's already going to be it's already in the course for you. So I already have it implemented into the program on the back end. So if you've signed up, have you signed up, Abby? It will be in there for you. So is that okay? Great. Amazing. Yay, Abby. I'm so glad. Okay. So Olivia Moore asked, will this be recorded? Yes, this is recorded. And for every person who missed this, and even if you did make it, do you guys want me to send you a replay? Because I'm sending a replay to everyone. And yes, replay. Okay, you're all gonna get a replay. Don't worry. Okay, so would there be a way to access the bonus workbook if we can't purchase before the end of this call? I will say, as much as you can try to do that, do that. And if you are struggling with that, email me at kat@therefinedwoman.com and let's chat, okay? So that is from, I can't see your full name, but it looks like Ari. Okay, so Olivia Moore, what if we need this but actually physically cannot afford it right now? So Olivia, I would say, I would encourage you to pause and zoom out, and perhaps there's even people in your life that really love you and support you and want to see you have breakthrough. So whereas maybe you can't totally afford it in this moment, what can you do to reach out for support and ask people in your life to help support you? And also, Olivia, that's why I have a payment plan. If you do the payment plan, it's $87 today, and then 2 more payments of $87 each 30 days apart. So is that helpful for you? And Abby says, oh, that's so sweet, Abby. Look at that. If there's someone who can't afford it, I would love to help. I don't have loads of money, but I believe in this and I would love to help. Wow. Y'all, that is insane. And so Olivia, did you see that? Look, one person right there who wants to support you. Okay. So I see another question. I tend to be picky and have high standards. This makes it hard for me to, quote unquote, keep my options open when online dating. So how do I allow myself to flirt or connect with guys when I'm not totally sold out whether or not they'd be a good fit for me? This is a really great question. And to this, I go over this way more in the course, but to keep it simple is, I'm 33 and almost 34 and single. So you better believe that I have high standards and am quote unquote picky. I wouldn't say picky. I say I'm intentional and I know what I want and I'm really, really clear about what I want. So there's two things here. How do you allow yourself to flirt and connect with guys when you're not sold out about whether or not they'd be a good fit? The only way you know if a guy is a good fit is by letting yourself get to know him. So flirting with him is not proposing and connecting, saying hello to a guy. You are not going to know if they're a good fit for you unless you get to know them. If you go on a date, it's just a date, not a proposal. So you can spend time, an hour, 2 hours with someone. Even you can go on multiple dates with someone just to get to know them. I think that's the thing, is like, dating does not like have to be this massive pressure situation that we make, especially in Christian culture. You can 100% stay connected to your values and your top non-negotiables of what you're looking for in a spouse, and also allow yourself to get to know someone, because you're not going to know if someone's supposed to be your husband on date one. Like, you're just not. So you can have high standards and also put yourself out there. So I hope that is helpful to you. So Olivia says, can you be friends first to get to know them first instead of outright date them? Sure, you can. I would just say you can totally do that. You just want to be careful and like guard your heart. And also like, I don't think dating has to be this massive thing. Like, going and getting to know another human being is a very low stakes thing. Like Olivia says below here, like, flirting and dating is not the direct path to marriage. Like, if what you feel most comfortable with is getting to know a person as a friend first, then by all means do that. All right. So how to lead into a smooth step from friend and a group of friends to more than friend zone and something special. You said, I live in a small town and everyone would know, and I know he is carrying fear of man and needs time for dealing with change stepovers. Okay, I don't know what stepovers means, but what I can speak into is, all right, there's no shame in having a crush on someone, and there's nothing embarrassing about liking a guy. My mentor always says no one has a bad day when they find out someone has a crush on them. And so what if everyone knows that you're interested in him? Like, you are. Like, that does not have to be like this debilitating or crippling thing. Like, I used to be so terrified of being found out. And once I shifted to being like, you know what? Yeah, I totally have a crush on him. Like, why would I not? He loves God. He's attractive. We laugh together. Of course I'm going to have a crush. And so really just kind of letting go of your fear of man. Like, you say he's carrying fear of man. It sounds like you're carrying fear of man. Who cares if other people know? But also it sounds like if he needs time for some healing, then he might not be ready for a relationship. Let's see down here. So I have someone here that's saying, you are drowning in debt. Is it possible to work out another payment plan? So I'm curious if you could raise the support for the $87 for this month. I definitely do not want you to be in more debt, for sure. Drowning in debt is not what you want. But even just how Abby in this thread said is, if anyone needs help, like, I would love to support you. I'm sure that there are people in your life that would be willing to support you, because the people in your life want to see you win. The people in your life that love you and know that you want to be in a meaningful relationship want you to have that. And if there are blocks from you getting there, then it's 100% worth, it's 100% worth investing into. Okay. Misty says, how do we get away from the pressure of doing more in order for a guy to like us instead of truly being ourselves? So that, Misty, Module 1, Lesson 2, How Do I Know I'm Worthy, has your name all over it. How do we get away with the pressure of doing more for a guy to like us instead of truly being ourselves? You have to know that you are worthy. Because right now, Misty, you are going to a man to validate your worthiness, your value, your identity. And you are worthy because of who you are, because you are made in the image of God, as Genesis 1 says, because he knows the hairs on your head and the freckles on your face, because he knew you before you were born. Like, how you get away with that, you learn how to walk in your worth. You learn how to walk in your worth. And I don't say that lightly, because I struggled with this for the majority of my life, looking to a guy to tell me this question that he was never meant to answer. All right. Next question. It looks like Allie. I wonder if I can make this bigger so I can see y'all's names. Nope, it doesn't work that way. Okay. Help. How to get out of the friend zone in long-term relationship, 5 years, how to go into that conversation. All right, Allison, you got to get the course. I have the specific module or specific lesson on friend zone to the end zone. But I'll tell you this, without going too much into that, because I want to honor the content, is if you've been friends with someone for 5 years and he hasn't made a move, chances are he's not interested in you in that way. However, there might be fear on both of your parts. So I would say you got to ask him. You got to tell him. And not just say, hey, where are you at? But you got to own where you're at. If you like this guy, then you got to tell him. And the reality, Allison, is that by you being stuck in the friend zone with this guy, is it's keeping you from other available men. So you're not able to meet other guys. You're not able to date other guys because there's this secret part of your heart that is hoping that this guy is going to change for you. You are worth so much more than that. And I want you to be emotionally available for a guy that's emotionally available for you. So I go a lot more fully into that in the course. But I hope that helps get your wheels in motion. I hope that helps. Okay. So next one. Oh, okay, good. I'm glad, Allison. Sorry, I'm really trying to answer these questions as they come in. There's so many. How do you know if a man is healed from his hurt? He says he is, but the signs are that he's not. Is this the take home to end the relationship? I would feel like, Kelly, I would need to ask more questions. Like, what is he healing from? Is he like getting through, like what can you be more specific, Kelly? I'm going to wait for just a second and see if you answer. Oh, so when did he get divorced, Kelly? How long ago was his divorce? So, okay, you're saying almost a year ago, which I feel is soon. So I would say trust your gut then. I think that it takes a lot of time to get over a divorce. I would say if it were me, I'm waiting at least a year, at least a year until entering into a relationship with this man. So it sounds like, I mean, you set it up here, like he says he's over it, but signs say that he's not. I would say, you know what to do then. You know what to do. It may not be fun, but it sounds like you know what to do. Okay, Kayla says, have I asked a guy out on a date before? How did they receive being on that end? So I don't know if you guys listen to my podcast, the Refined Collective podcast, but I interviewed a series of guys. It's called the Dude Series. And I asked them the top 15 questions that women ask me all the time. And we talked about this a lot. Most guys are like all for it. Like let me know you're interested. Like, like, throw me a bone here. I've asked a guy out on a date before, and it hasn't gone well. Like, and that was basically, I was in the friend zone, and then I said, hey, I'm interested in you. Like, I would actually like to go on a date with you. And he was like, I'm not interested in you in that way. So to me, that is not a failure, because then I got clarity and was able to then say, okay, you're not interested in this way. So now I can like move on and protect my heart. Another time I asked a guy out, it went really, really, really well. And I dated him, and he was one of the sweetest men that I've ever dated. And God just used this man in my life to really heal some old wounds, and we had such a sweet relationship. It ended up not working out for the long term, but what I found out is he was just as insecure as I was. So he saw me as this like super powerful, intimidating woman, and he was like, oh, a girl like that would never like me. And here we are as women thinking a guy like that would never like us, when guys are just as insecure as us ladies. And sometimes they just need a little oomph, a little push. All right. Donna or Dana, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Okay. Ooh, this is good. So you swiped right on a guy that you actually know. You've never met him, but you have mutual friends. Should I just shoot him a message on Facebook saying I saw his profile, recognized him, and wanted to say hi, or suggest going out to coffee or something? Absolutely. I love being matched with guys. Do both. Like, say hi to him on Bumble, because you have 24 hours to message him. And yeah, like, message him on Facebook too. I love that, because you ultimately, don't you like want to kind of like go on a date with someone that you have some context with? It's such a low pressure way to like start that conversation of let's go out, because if you're on online dating, it's because you're interested in going on a date. And if you've swiped right on the guy, there's some level of interest, and be like, oh, hey, totally saw you on Bumble. Like, we should grab coffee sometime. Totally do that. I love that idea. Okay. Okay, Jenna, how do you apply these breakthrough principles? Oh, the 15-minute timer just went down. So I'm going to answer a few more questions for you guys. But make sure and sign up. Let's get those signups in so you can get your little free workshop or your workbook, What to Do with My Sexual Desire. Okay. So Jenna says you've recently started dating someone super new, and you so badly don't want to mess it up. Do you offer any advice or suggestions in this stage of things? Yes. First thing, Jenna, you're gonna make a mistake. Like, you're gonna make a mistake. Welcome to the human race. You're not going to do it perfectly. He's not going to do it perfectly. There's grace that covers that. And so what I say for you in that space is, I think the best thing you can do is be honest. Be open with where you're at. Create a space of vulnerability and open communication. And remember that you guys are both trying to walk this out, and it's new for both of you. No one's an expert here. So I think when you level the playing field of like, all right, like, we're both in this together, and you don't want to make a mistake, but you know what? It's probably going to happen. I think then we can offer more grace to each other in that way. Does that make sense? I just think we get like, don't let the fear of making a mistake paralyze you from getting to know this incredible guy. So how do you apply these breakthroughs? You just do. You start practicing them. You get out there. You try some of the just take one of the tools that I give you and try it out. Like, it's like when we're kids playing dress up. Like, you don't have to, if I'm like, all right, try online dating, it doesn't mean you have to do online dating for the rest of your life, but try it on. Like, be curious, allow yourself to make a mistake. Okay. Kelly, congratulations. You signed up. Woohoo. Katie Joy Davis, what are your thoughts on friendship with men, covenant friendship with men? I don't know what you mean by that. But I have a lot of thoughts on can guys and girls be friends? And I have a whole podcast episode in the last few weeks with this pastor, Ben Stewart from Passion Church, DC. And we talk all about, can guys and girls be just friends? And I think it's possible, but I think you have to be really, really careful. And I think you have to be really honest and have conversations often about where you're both at, and where your heart is, because it's so easy to slide into, I call it like a faux relationship. Like you're not dating, but you are dating. So I just think you have to be really, really careful. So Katie, if you're getting married, here's the thing. If you're getting married, you're as soon as either one of you starts dating someone, the friendship has to drastically change. You're too close. So I would say you don't need to be texting every day with a guy, hanging out one-on-one a ton. So good boundaries to have, like hang out in public, like don't hang out all the time. Be really honest with yourself, where you're at with your heart. If you find yourself having feelings, be honest with him about that. Keep the dialogue open, because oftentimes we don't know that we're too close in friendships with men until one of us starts dating someone, and then they drop off the face of the earth. So Proverbs 31:12 says, honor the husband all of the days of your life. So that means like now, today. So those are my thoughts on that. What are some good boundaries to have? Okay, looking more questions. Okay, I'm trying to scroll back up here and see if there's anything. Okay. Yaritza says, how do you get over an ex? I go to the same church as my ex and I'm afraid to see him with someone else. How do I deal? How do I prepare? I would just say, first of all, breakups are hard and they suck and are painful, and heartache is so real. How do you deal? I would say definitely put things in place to guard your heart. So don't follow him on social media. Don't be lurking his social media. Cut any of those ties. If you're trying to get over him, you definitely don't want to be looking at his Facebook page, Instagram, and have a small group of women that you're going through the process with together, that really care about you. It just takes time. Like there's not a linear path to healing. So I would say if you need to go to a different service time to avoid him for a while, to really give your heart space to heal, you don't have to put on a brave front. You don't owe him or anyone else anything. Give yourself enough time. Give yourself enough time to get over him. Okay. Katie says, we have had a DTR, but he has had a lot of hang-ups and areas of fear in dating, but we talk every day. So do you like him? Do you have feelings for him? You have feelings for him. Well, then it sounds like your question of, can you guys be friends, covenant friends, quote unquote? The answer is no, because you have feelings for him and you're not able to be fully honest with him. So if you've had the DTR and he's said that he is not interested in dating, then you need to have some real clear boundaries with him and really pull back. You do not need to be talking with him every day. It is hard, but yeah, if you want to protect your heart, and be open to a relationship with a man who's not afraid to date, because now he gets his cake and is able to eat it too. So he's saying, well, he's initiating conversation with you, but he's not initiating a relationship with you. So that's a no-go in my book. Abby says, how do you prevent being clingy? Again, this goes back to what I go over in module 1, lesson 2. It's so much about your worth. When I am grounded in who God has made me to be, when I'm grounded in my worth and my identity, then I can, from a place of groundedness and wholeness, interact with men in my life, as opposed to we act clingy and needy when we are coming from a place of fear. Like, oh my gosh, like, what do I do? How do I be around him? I need to prove myself to him. Like, notice what's going on for you, Abby, underneath the clinginess. If it's fear, that's not the life God has for you. So I would just kind of ask yourself or process through with God, like, what would it look like if I actually believed that I was the woman that God said I was? If I believed that I'm enough, that I believed that God has a plan for me, how would I be showing up in this situation? Hope that's helpful. So Katie, okay, back to your guy friend. Should I continue to adjust your feelings for him? Absolutely, 100%. But you're not able to adjust your feelings for him if you're talking to him every day. So it sounds like you really need to pull back from him. If you have feelings for him, you need to pull back because it's not a friendship then, because you're not able to be honest with yourself and with him, or honest with him about how you're feeling. All right, ladies, we're almost 30 minutes over. I'm going to hop off here in a minute. I don't, okay, Kelly, what is FO? What is your definition of a FO relationship? What's FO? Faux relationship. Okay. If it, Donna, yes, you still have time. If you guys still want to purchase and have access to my bonus, here's what I'm going to do. It's 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you get it by 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll leave it up for you. Sound like a plan? Sound good? Okay, but Kelly, to answer your questions, what is your definition of a faux friendship? Okay, if it quacks like a duck, has feathers like a duck, and has a beak like a duck, and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. So are you guys hanging out a lot? Do you like him? Are you guys hanging out but not talking about what your relationship is? Are you doing things that are date-like? Whether that's going out to dinner or going on walks or going to a movie, doing things one-on-one together, then you might be in a faux friendship. If someone were to see you guys together, would they think you're dating? You might be in a faux friendship. If he went on a date with another person, would you feel really hurt or betrayed? You're probably in a faux friendship. We as women settle for scraps so often when God has a feast for us. So I just wonder what would happen in our singleness and dating lives if men and women stopped settling for these fake relationships, for these friendships that were meeting part of the need, just enough need, but it's taking you off the market from being open to from a full relationship with an available man. Because as long as you're stuck in a fake relationship or that friend zone with a guy, you are not, as much as you say you are open to other guys, you're actually not. I'm seeing all these other anonymous. So sorry. Yeah, settling is, and girlfriend, I settled so long. So many times I have done the most embarrassing things to get attention from men, and I let guys cheat on me and not commit to me, not introduce me to their friends because I didn't think I was worth the full thing. And sometimes when you don't know your worth, something feels better than nothing. Yeah. Misty, are you still there, Misty? Did you just ask that question? I think you did. What are ways you can prepare yourself for your future spouse? I'm so glad, Kelly. Misty, one of the best ways you can prepare for your future spouse is by getting as emotionally and spiritually, physically healthy as possible. So a huge way to do that, invest into your wholeness, get therapy, get counseling, do workshops like you're doing today, do the Activate Your Dating Life program. invest into emotional awareness, get to know yourself better, work through your baggage, work through your fears, and get your finances in order. If you're in debt, get out of debt. I was in such bad debt, and God really convicted me of that a few years ago. So I'm actually will be debt free by end of this year. Praise God. But there's so much you can do to prepare for that relationship. And I think one of the biggest things is investing into your wholeness. Stuff like this program, really working through your stuff, working through your past, getting clear on what your calling is. Hope that's helpful. Okay, Emily, how to handle a situation where I really like a guy, but there's another girl who does, and I can't stop feeling like she's better than me or has a better chance than I do. I like him, but become quiet and afraid around him for fear of messing him up or fear of messing up. All right, so Emily, are you still here? So thank you, Misty. So Emily, to you. Okay, great. I'm glad you're still here. So first of all, the fear of messing up. So what it sounds like is you are putting your identity in him. So he is right now, you've given him the power to tell you that you're worthy, that you have let him kind of define you. And he doesn't get to do that. That's not his role in your life. You are worthy. You are enough. You are perfect as is, because you are a daughter of the King. That's who you are. So are you gonna mess up around him? Yeah, we are all broken people. We're gonna mess up. We're gonna blow it, girlfriend. So, but when you blow it and you still know that you are worthy, then that mistake doesn't define you. Like I taught in this workshop, every opportunity is an opportunity for growth if we choose to be. And you want to be with a man that is not going to run away if you make a mistake. I mean, marriage is a lifetime of sinning and hurting another person and asking for forgiveness. And as far as you feel like this other girl's better than you, friend, like to you, I say, you are worthy, and no one is better or less than anyone else. It's all equal playing field. So if you really like him, you have the permission to like him. And if he ends up liking this other girl, then he likes the other girl. But it's like you're taking yourself out of the ring before it even starts. And no one is telling you to get out of the ring but yourself. So I wonder what it would be for you to really navigate through like your worth, your worthiness. I think module 1, lesson 2, how do I know I'm worthy is going to like be really, really important for you. So. Oh, Donna, I'm good. Okay, good. I'm glad you got it. Okay. You're welcome, Emily. And I know I'm saying some hard things to you guys, but I believe in your wholeness, and I believe that your wholeness is worth pursuing. And I believe you are worth investing into yourself, and no one gets to define who you are but God. Yet so often we give that authority to men in our lives, and then we get so paralyzed and compare ourselves to everyone else. Like, oh my gosh, I just think if we really knew our worth, like the world would change. All right, so before we hop off, are there any more specific questions about the program, about Activate Your Dating Life? Are there any more specific questions about Activate Your Dating Life? Dun, dun, dun. Oh my gosh, there's still 32 of you here. That makes me so happy. Y'all are the bomb. Yes, absolutely. So Kelly, I'm taking a note for your name right now. You can absolutely email me. I'm putting my email right here for you guys. So this is my personal email. So I'm trusting you guys. You can email me at kat@therefinedwoman.com. And so to all of you guys, I just really, whoops, hey there. What happened? Oh my gosh. Sorry, that was embarrassing. Oh, Ingrid, that's a great question. Okay. No, the program does not have to be completed in a specific time. You have lifetime access once you purchase it. And I don't know if you also heard, Ingrid, if you were gone or not, but if you purchase within the next hour, I'll let you have the bonus, what to do about my sexual desire. So I hope that's helpful. Lifetime access, you go through it at your own pace, whatever you need. So overall, ladies, just wrapping up here, I just wanted to thank you for being here. And if you're still on the fence, and I want you to just really think about what your life would look like if you finally understood, like down to your bones, that you are worthy of the type of relationship that you truly long for. That like no longer do you have to settle for scraps of being stuck in that friend zone, stuck as a faux friend. Like, what if you really learned how to take responsibility and learned how to meet and interact with and date quality, single, godly men? Like, what if that was possible for you, that you could have that relationship and marriage that you longed for? Like, I just want you to imagine, like, what would your life look like? How would your year look? How would your day look? And most importantly, how would you feel if you not only believed that, but were equipped to move forward? Ladies, I do not want you to miss out on this opportunity. So one more time, if you are ready to enroll, you can go to therefinedwoman.shop/ready and we'll get you all squared away. And if you're still on the fence and not quite ready to jump in, after we wrap up here, I'm going to go hop over onto my email. I already put it on there, kat@therefinedwoman.com. And we'll answer any and every question that you have. So I want to make sure that I can help you decide whether or not you're ready to join and if it's a good idea for now or if you need to wait. I just want to make you feel as good as possible about where you're at and would love to support you however I can on your journey. So I hope I see you in the program and have a wonderful day. So yeah, bye-bye for now. Oh, Donna, okay, you access the course but still can't find the bonus. It should be in there. It should be at the very end. So Donna, why don't you email me, kat@therefinedwoman.com, and I can help you find it. Okay. And Vita, welcome to the course. Donna, you do not have to finish the modules before seeing the bonus. Okay. So again, email me if you're still not able to find it. It should be at the bottom of the module page. Just let me know any questions that you have. All right, ladies, bless you. I don't want to leave because there's still so many people in this room. You guys are incredible. Thank you, Allison, for saying that. I really, really appreciate that. You really have no idea how much that means to me. So I will talk to you guys soon. And for all of you who are in the course, I cannot wait to see you in there. Bless you, bless your day, and we will talk soon. Doop.